I am Sister Mary Kioko, a daughter of St. Paul, a happy daughter of St. Paul. And in the community, I'm the animator, and I am also in the team of the province as the counselor for ongoing formation. When it comes to the matters of faith in relation to creation, first of all, what comes to my mind is the joy of being a Christian and the call that I've received to take care of this creation. In other words, faith for me becomes the platform, the spiritual platform of how I am called to nurture and care for the creation. And that already is a call to begin with myself, my sanity of my life, from the brain downwards. When I look at nature, what comes into my mind? It reminds me of the goodness of God. And that goodness must remain in me if I take full responsibility of taking care of that nature. And so for me, faith takes the place of God's presence in me and in everything that I see around me, and the call to take good care of it, starting with the little things that have been entrusted to me. Even in my own room, how well do I take care of the things that I have? Then coming from there, the things of the community, how do I preserve them? And then outside the compound, what comes to my mind when I look at the beautiful nature, beautiful flowers? That call to keep the compound clean, that call to keep the community neat, that call to keep my room as a place for prayer. And so in total, faith helps me to keep connected in the presence of God in my life. Laudato Si to me means remaining connected with my Lord, remaining connected with nature. And looking at nature, for me it is an expression of God's love. And that love should not only remain at what I see, but it should also connect me with the rest of my community members, with the people the Lord has called me to serve. And so, Laudato Si, for me, is a song of connectivity, connecting myself once again with what God has given me as a person. Being daughters of St. Paul, the season of creation is a wake-up call to first of all become aware of our calling as daughters of St. Paul, as religious sisters, that we have been called for a purpose, and that purpose takes its root from God's creation. When He created man and woman, He gave them a responsibility to take care of nature, to take care of what He Himself had created. And coming from that point, we all came from our first parents, and each one of us, the Lord called us to participate in co-creating what He Himself created and blessed and entrusted to us. Now, me as a daughter of St. Paul, I am called to take care of nature, and that happens only within where I am, and then from there I extend it outside. Looking at our community, first of all, we preserve nature by calling it to mind our apostolate. Our mission is to sensitize people on what the Lord has created and how He wants us to help the people to embrace and also to respect it. And so through the many publications that we have had so far, the publications that are calling people to reconnect once again with nature, It is a way of sensitizing the people to love what the Lord has created and to preserve it, because a responsibility has been given to everyone to keep it as good as God himself created. Then, within the community, if all of us we are sensitized, we are able to also use the organic waste in the proper manner. We are able to separate that which is dissolvable from that which is not. And in that, we are able to recycle the materials into good use. For example, we use the organic waste as manure in our farm. And if you look at our garden, it is so green, looking so nice. And also, what we are taking now as food, as vegetables, is a nourishment to our bodies. And that is also a call to live well the nature, which becomes for us food for our own nourishment. We have rain. Rain is a gift that comes from God. But at the same time, we can also preserve the water that comes down, so that not all the water that is wasted. And therefore, we have reservoir tanks around that are used to collect the waters during the rain season. And during the dry season, we can use the water to plant to water our plants around, so that we can maintain the compound remain green all through. At the same time, we have seen the need of solar, tapping the energy from the sun into a storage that can give us clean energy for use. And therefore, we don't just let the sun just go wasted like that. We can use the energy from the sun for something that is more creative, and in that way we are preserving nature. At the same time, when I look around our compound, it has beautiful flowers. We never stop planting flowers. We never stop planting trees. Why? To maintain the vegetation that gives us clean air to breathe in and out. And therefore, as a community, we are doing our best within the ministry that has been entrusted to us to keep recreating what the Lord has given us for the good of us and also the people who come around us. And because of that experience, we are able to teach others out there the beauty of preserving nature. My message to the people out there is that call that each one of us have been called to preserve nature. It's our role as human beings to keep the decency the Lord has always required from each one of us. We may think we are doing very little, but that little of maybe tidying the places where we are, being sensitive to the waste matters around us and trying to keep them where they should be, is already the process of coming back to what the Lord is calling us to be, to become aware that God has entrusted to us the universe, to nurture it for its well-being. And at the same time, I would also say that we have many books that are very educative, books that are talking about how well we can preserve nature, how well we can participate, all of us, on this journey of procreating anew the environment wherever we are. And therefore, I call upon the people out there to visit our bookshops. Find out which books are talking about ecology, about the environment, about Laudato Si in general, and how they can participate on this journey so that the universe may remain for what the Lord created it to be. And at the same time, I would also call upon every person to put this process of making our universe beautiful through prayer. We have so many beautiful prayers, especially for us who pray the prayer of the church and the divine office. There are psalms that have been formulated to praise nature. Why not go back and utilize those psalms, those prayers within the family, to also, when we are praying as religious, to find true meaning of what we are saying. And that will help us to maintain our spiritual nature as pro-creators of the universe.